I don't think there's been ever a fighter that more analysts, and me included, have been more wrong about than Dricus. I still don't get why. I've come to peace that he's good. I still don't get why he's good. Do you understand like how someone could be so like quote unquote like untechnical, unorthodox, not quote unquote correct, but so goddamn effective?
I think I do have a pretty good idea. I would say, especially on the feet, and I can kind of relate to this because there's some times that I do something in a fight and I think, oh, that was probably slick or that looked pretty fast, and I go back and watch it and I'm like, it worked, but I look like a baby deer in there. Like that was that was just awkward. But yeah, I think one thing people don't maybe recognize as readily, because like he is a very big, big muscular build. He's like built like a thick guy. I think his reach is probably a little bit longer than people give it credit for. And even if it doesn't look like the arm speed, say, necessarily is that quick, he does a very good job of being mobile while he punches. And, there's a couple different ways you can generate power when you punch. If you want to be rooted to the floor and get that real quick hip turn and you got a lot of velocity and hand speed, that can be one way to generate power. Another way to generate power can be the movement of your body. So he does very well, taking a little step off to the side either way and then making a linear movement through his target. So when you got that big body that's used to doing things like rugby and barreling into people, and you can focus that force and energy through your hand as you're moving, not only is that going to give a little bit extra reach to what you got because your feet are moving while you're punching, but it's also going to make you have a lot more power just because it's literally your body weight falling behind that strike. And I think, just because it's not the quote unquote prettiest footwork and he's not like bouncing in and out like, the old Soviet style, or he's not like dancing around and whipping everything like an Adesanya. Because we're not as familiar with it, it just kind of looks foreign. But really, that's, it's almost like a version of the old school, like point karate, except those guys would stop immediately. But it's like you run in behind your strikes and you land a flurry. So I think it probably surprises guys too, because like, oh, he doesn't look that fast. It's like, well, the arm doesn't have to be fast if the feet are moving behind it. It kind of like makes it deceptive in that way. So I think that's one thing that, and again, it looks a little bit different on film, but when someone does it to you in person, you're like, oh, okay, like now I kind of understand how that, that guy's catching people.